Hey Ben.
What's up, buddy?
Hey man, how are you?
Just living it up.
Good. How's your week been so far?
Really good. Busy. I feel like I always say I'm busy, but this week's been really busy. So,
Good. I'm trying to get my camera to actually focus on me. I don't know why it's not doing that right now. Have you had a lot of applications this week?
yeah, and just people go under a contract. I feel like it's just so much easier for people to go under contract now. It's crazy. Like, I mean, they're actually putting in one offer and it's getting
Yeah,
accepted. And
that's good.
you might even get some closing costs paid.
Yeah.
So, it's just like the tide has turned.
hmm Very
So,
quickly,
man, that
very
was like
rapidly,
that was
which
like a
is
I feel like that was like a 2-month deal.
yeah, it was quick. I mean, I'm seeing, on my end, you know, some contracts terminating. And this is like investors who are I had that happen last week where they terminated. Well, they didn't exactly terminate, but they gave us like ridiculous after due diligence or at the end, they gave us like ridiculous requests, which part of that was to bring the purchase price down 15,000. And I think that it was just kind of another investment company that I spoke to, a representative said a lot of the investment companies are doing that right now because everything has changed so quickly that they're having to like go back in and reevaluate their numbers on the offers and change it. It's not to say that people aren't still buying houses because they are, and
Yep.
investment companies are buying houses, but we'll look at the numbers. Oh, good, somebody's ringing the doorbell. We'll go back and look at the number. We'll look at the numbers today and see what July looked like.
That's nuts. I
Dude,
mean,
it's crazy. Have you looked at it already?
no, I haven't. I don't have. I wish I had access to MLS. Maybe I need to talk to my wife.
Yeah, you're married to someone who does.
Maybe I need to talk to my wife so I can start pulling it up. But I tell you what, mortgage rates have done a great job this week. Like,
Really?
yeah, there's been a few instances like we're locking people in the high fours on a conventional deal.
Well, there you go. That's
So
awesome.
even like let's say high fours to low fives. That's
Mhm.
a great range. That's a half. I mean, that's really good.
Yeah.
So we had a little bit of a spike earlier in the week. Just people that are part of the Federal Reserve started opening their mouth about liquidity and all this other fun stuff. So we had like a 2-day stint where the 10-year did kind of shoot back up, but as of right now, it's doing really well.
Well, good. Good, good. We need to do another episode just on that. Go through different pieces of it and how the 10-year treasury um affects those mortgage rates. But today we're talking about um the July recap. So July or August market update, which is going back and looking at what happened in July. And we had some big changes from July to August. We did in the real estate market. And so, we'll just go ahead and jump right into that stuff and we can kind of talk about it. You know what I need to do that I didn't do yet is I need to share this screen right here.
What was the monthly inventory at the end of July or end of June? Was it 1.8?
Yeah, it was 1.8. Yeah. So this did this last time that I was doing it. For some reason, it shrunk this down. Oh, we got some thunder going on. So this is like the first part, which is kind of like, man, are we already like kind of going? Our price is actually going to go down from June to July. Median sale price through the whole MLS went from 400,000 to 390. But there's a couple things we can look at on that. One of those is the same exact thing happened last year. So from right here, from July to August, 340 to 335. So I just go back and look at that it went up the year before. It went up in 2020, but 2020 was a different animal. If you look at July to August 19, it went down 259 to 250. That's crazy. Just 3 years ago, the median sale price for the whole FMLS was 250, and today it's 390.
That's
Um,
nuts.
it's nuts. But yeah, so that seems to be a trend, except for in 2020, which I said was, a different animal. But the same exact thing happened. So though this might look like, whoa, the prices are starting to go down, that seems to be the case from June to July every year. Oh, I was
And
looking July.
this is just what the median home prices are being priced at to sell.
Well, no, this is the sales price. This is what they're selling for.
Yeah, which
So
is
this is the at once they've sold, and it's so then the next thing is you asked about months of supply. Months of supply, and I wish this wasn't doing this. I don't know why it's doing this thing right here because you can't really see it that well. But at the end of June, we were at 1.8 months. Now we're at 2 months of inventory. 2 days ago, when I looked,
didn't we start this
what's
thing at
that?
1.4? Didn't we start this
Yeah,
our
it
market?
was.
It wasn't 1.4?
Yeah, 1.4. Yeah, and now 1.8, 2 months of inventory. A couple days when I looked at that, it was 2.1 months of inventory. The other thing, so I'll go back to some of those other things in a minute, but this is crazy too. Like, and if this was stretched out, you could really see it, but like pending sales just took a nosedive. So did closed sales I mean, that's a crazy, a dip right there. The other thing that dipped is new listings. So new listings went down significantly from June to July. Pending
It's about
sales
3,000.
went down significantly from June to July, and closed sales went down. But then months of supply, so inventory, went up. So what that tells me is what we've been saying, for the last 2 or 3 months is the homes that are on the market are sitting on the market longer. So though we have less listings coming onto the market, whatever's coming on is just adding to what's already there. So homes are selling for sure. Let's see, shows to pending. Days on market. Let's look at days on market. So days on market from June to July, at median days on market went up by 1 day. So it's not like homes are sitting on the market for 20 or 30 days, or most of them aren't. But they are sitting there longer, and because they're sitting there longer, inventory is going up while pending sales and closed sales are going down. Another thing I wanted to show you on sale prices. Okay, for the entire MLS, sale price went down. But if we look specifically at Atlanta, in Atlanta, if I can get it to show me this thing. I don't know why this is not working.
Oh, is that it right there?
Yeah, I can't see the thing though because of what's going on right here. So it's here, but I can't see the numbers. Hold on, let me refresh this page real quick. Okay, so let me see if it'll show me on this bar chart like this. So Atlanta, wherever it is, I don't know why I can't see that. Go away. Let me try a different area. It's like just below that line. But anyway, I looked at this the other day, and even though the entire MLS went down slightly, Atlanta went up, Decatur went up. This is sale price. Smyrna slightly went down, Mableton slightly went down. So even though as a whole, the median sale price from June to July went down, which, like I said, that happened last year and in 2019. That seems to be a trend from June to July, I guess, because people are on vacations and, homes are taking longer to sell. That's not everywhere. So if you're looking in specific areas like in Atlanta or in Decatur, those median sale prices still went up, even though some areas didn't do that.
What did Smyrna do?
So Smyrna
We
went, God, I wish I could see that. I don't know why I can't see it. I don't know why. Like, if I think it has something to do. Oh, here it is. Okay, I can look at it this way, I think.
So look at
So,
Smyrna.
so Smyrna went down, I believe. I can't see that other. If I could see June. Smyrna, I know, went down slightly. Atlanta went up, but yeah, look at Smyrna. Look at that number right there. Median sale price 462.5.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So, I mean, that was what I was looking at. What I thought was the most interesting part of that is even though sale price slightly went down a little bit, what was interesting is inventory went up while new listings went way down and closed and pending sales went way down. So homes are starting to sit on the market longer.
Yeah.
A lot of what came up in May and June is still sitting on the market, which is why it's important right now. I mean, we're seeing inventory come up, raise like that, which means that sellers need to be prepared to compete in the market. And I said that before, but they really do need to be ready to compete in this market.
Sure.
Because homes are sitting there. But then once again, remember that that same thing happened from June to July. And I noticed that every single year. People a lot of times think that June and July or summer months are busy selling months. I mean, people that aren't in the industry, that those are busy selling months. But for me and for a lot of other agents, those summer months, June and July, are some of my slowest months every single year. People are on vacation. They're thinking about, even though it is prime time to be getting into, the house you want to get into before school starts or things like that. Most people want to get that out of the way in the spring so they can have summer in their new home. And
yeah,
June and July are vacation months. So
do you see that like September, October are pretty decent though before the holidays?
I do see that. Yeah. I've had years in the past. This 2021 wasn't like that. Everything had kind of slowed down by 2021, but I've had years in the past where December was my best month of the year.
I'm telling you, the past 3 years, December's been huge for me.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess it's a little different on the mortgage side, but I just don't have, like, I guess I'm just always Mr. Consistent. I feel like, knock on wood, but like it doesn't matter if it's August or January. It seems like people are always buying and selling these days, especially in the South. It's not like we're in Chicago, right? We're fighting like 4 feet of snow and wind. It's like it's always mild, and you can still buy and sell in those cooler months. So
right. That's what is really interesting and why I'm glad that we're doing this show and doing this market update every single week right now, because this is the first time in 2 years when the market is actually changing.
I know.
I mean, we went 2.5 years just about where all we were telling people was, well, the price, like everything's still going up, inventory's still going down. Now it's actually changing, and so we can really keep people updated minute by minute on what's going on. Because speaking of what you just said about it always being buying season, always being selling season, we didn't leave that selling market for 2.5 years. It wasn't like everything kind of cooled off. It just stayed going up and up. And now we're at a point where it's starting to level off again. Um, people are still buying and selling for sure. It's just, it's slowed down, and the interest rates have had some to do with that. But I think also there's not this like frenzied feeling of like needing to buy a house. Well, I think that did have a lot to do with the interest rates, right? A lot of, for a while there, people were like, we got to get these rates, which was a good idea.
Great, yes, and just straight up affordability. You got to think that we have affordability issue that
Yeah.
needs to be addressed. I mean, literally, I mean, if you read some of the articles and look at people's financials like I do every day, like if you're not making, I hate to say it, like if you're not making $100,000, like it's really hard. And I shouldn't say that, but like I'm meaning, it is so hard to afford the house that you need or want on where we're at currently. And so that's where it's like, man, I don't know. I just wish we could get some affordability, and it could be the interest rates. I think a lot of it does have to do with interest rates, just because of that monthly payment. Look, the monthly payment went up $300 overnight. It's just
Right.
like, man.
No, yeah, I agree with you. There is an affordability problem. I mean, when I have very well qualified, or some very well qualified buyers who are having a difficult time finding a home in the 325, 350 range in Marietta, so that's, and this is not several years ago. You could have found a house for $250,000 in, 2019, 2020 in Marietta. That would have been no problem. And you probably wouldn't have had to compete for it as much as you have had to recently. And so that's just driven up those prices. So yeah, we definitely do. But if we can get some more inventory on the market, that'll take care of that. It was just going to take some time for the inventory to build back up.
Yeah.
We need a lot more new homes. As you know, most people locked into those, or not most people, a lot of homeowners locked into those 2 3/4 interest rates, and they're not going anywhere.
Heck no, why would you? I mean, I bought in 2021, and my rate starts in the twos, and I don't want to go anywhere. Why do I want to go from 2.5 to 5.5?
Right. Where are you going to, you're not going to sell and buy. Maybe you get to a point where you have enough equity or enough savings that you can hold on to that rate and buy something else, maybe, and you're comfortable with that. But you're probably going to, if you refinanced in 2020 or 2021, you're probably going to stay where you are for a while.
Until they get this inflation under control. But then again, nothing's promised either, right? So like, we could sit here and say, oh yeah, rates are going to come down in 12 to 18 months. Are they? I mean, what's it going to take to get rates back down into the low threes, high twos, as we talked about a couple of weeks ago? Like, what you saw then it was all artificial, and now we're paying the price now, right? Because the Fed was printing money, the Fed was buying so much mortgage-backed securities that it kept everybody afloat for those 2 years. But look at it now. Like, we are fighting inflation that's not really going anywhere. I really don't think the Federal Reserve knows what they're doing. Neither do I. So I'm not putting them down. But what's it going to take to get inflation under control? They can keep on raising this, the Fed fund rate, which we've talked about, but mortgage rates have, of course, gone down, which they're not tied together. We've talked about that, but inflation still continues to go up, right? So even if it's only 0.1 a month on the CPI and all this other stuff, it hasn't done anything. Well, so I just don't know what else,
Well, speaking of, and I want to ask you a question first, but on the interest rate side, do you think rates should go back down to the threes? I mean, historically, 4-5% interest rate is still a very good mortgage rate, right? I mean,
exactly. I mean, even right now, which it bothers me when people like they're comparing rates to the 1980s, which is great, whatever. But I don't think that. I think rates will go down. I just don't know what and what's healthy.
Mhm.
right? It's kind of like on the real estate side. Like, what's a healthy real estate market? How many months is a healthy real estate balanced market? Is that, well, I think it's what, 4 or 6? I think we've said in the past.
That will like, yeah, balanced would, a balanced market is supposed to be somewhere between 6 and 7. In my career, which is started in 2015, I haven't seen it ever get to that point. I think a balanced market where we were at about 3.5 months of inventory. I think that is a solid, that was like 2018, 2019. I think that's a solid balanced market because I think if you own something like a piece of property and you want to sell it, um, you should be able to, uh, you know, uh, you should be able to sell it not for anything you want to sell it for, but it's your piece of property. You own it. You should not have to give it away to somebody. But
Right.
also on the other end, buyers shouldn't have to, offer up their firstborn to get that either, and they shouldn't have to compete against 15 or 16 other offers. I think a little bit of competition for buyers is good. If you've got 2 or 3 buyers who are interested in a property, um, but also on the buyer side, not having to put in 5 offers on 5 different properties before you finally get something under contract. Being able to find something and not spin your wheels so much. And I think when we get back to that 3.5 months, if we can stay, which we probably won't, but if we could stay in that like 3.5 month of inventory range, it's going to take us a long time to get to that point. But I think that's a really good market.
Yeah.
It's
And
good for everybody.
my side, I think a 4% interest rate is a balanced interest rate, because anything lower than that, once you get down to those high twos, low threes, I mean, something major's happened, and the Federal Reserve was buying all those mortgage-backed securities daily, and now what we're seeing is they're trying to unwind their balance sheet, and it's just, you have so much volatility in the bond market, to where you also don't want cheap money. So I would love to see interest rates in that high three, low four range consistently for a balanced, economic mortgage cycle, you could say. Because right now we're having affordability issues in the fives. Okay.
Mhm.
Threes were just low threes that was all done by the Federal Reserve pretty much.
Yeah.
And, look what that caused. I mean, people were, and, you know, we don't really know if we're in a recession or not, from what we hear on the news, right? We've had 2 consecutive quarters with negative GDP, but without getting too political, we don't really know if we're in a recession or not. Nobody will tell us the truth on that, even though major economists say that, yeah, we're in a recession, but they've kind of changed um, the term of a recession. So we'll see what's going on with that.
Right. There was a the Wall Street Journal podcast that I listen to just because it comes up on my Spotify all the time. There was a writer on there or a journalist on there who was talking about recession, and in the terms of, the old school way of deciding whether or not you're in a recession is the GDP, after
Yeah.
2 quarters. But he said there were 5 different indicators. That was one of them, and then there were several others. Inflation it was something having to do with inflation, and then there was unemployment and things like that. Which unemployment is significantly low, and people. People have a lot of buying power right now, and they're spending a lot of money. So that does not happen in a recession.
No, just the only thing that is just, it's crazy, that we have, the gas prices where they're at, food prices where they're at, everything where it's at, and people, it hadn't stopped anybody.
Mhm.
People are still hiring like crazy. Like, you can go get a job right now anywhere. They're hiring. And
Yeah.
so, to your point, you're 100% right. It's just like, it's crazy on just the prices of everything, and just getting all that under control.
Yeah. Well, one thing on the back as far as legislation and what the Fed's going to do and what the government's going to do. Someone and I should know this, but was like the president of the National Association of Realtors or the head, some guy up at the top of the National Association of Realtors went before Congress last week, and they had, I guess he testified and said that the only way that we were going to fix the affordability issue in the United States was if there was some sort of legislation to that backed building more homes and adding more inventory. So I don't know if that's something that our government would ever do, or if they could even do it fast enough that it would help anything. But if there's a way to make it easier for builders to build homes faster and get everything that they need to build homes, that could definitely help.
100%. But then you have to get
where
the
we are.
banks, you have to get the major banks behind it, right?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
the banks right now really don't want to lend on construction money.
Yeah.
I know that from personal experiences. Like they don't, unless you're going to like a community bank or hard money or something like that. Like you can't just go. Unless you're like a national builder, like the DR Hortons of the world, or a major builder who has like a ton of credit at Wells Fargo or Chase or whoever they bank with, where they have unlimited, not really unlimited, but they have a large amount of liquidity to use.
Mm-hmm.
But like these little small like community builders or even like regional builders, it's tough for them to get construction money.
Well, I wonder if I guess that's what the legislation that he referenced, and I haven't read a whole lot about it. I just saw that in passing, but
Yeah.
Maybe that is what he was referencing, is if you could, incentivize banks to lend to more builders, or make it, ease up how easy it is for them to access, or how they access the funds to build. That could help. I think that definitely would help, because inventory is not going to increase just by resale homes coming on the market or people selling their homes, just like we said, because a lot of the reason is because people are going to sit on those interest rates that they have. So we need more homes.
Well, and especially in Metro Atlanta, we need more homes because so many people are moving to Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
Our population is supposed to grow tenfolds over the next decade. I mean, Atlanta's turning into a major hub spot for not only tech and film and other industries. Where are these people going to live?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Yeah, some of them will rent, which that's great if you own apartment complexes. But some people want to buy,
right?
As they should, if they can. But where are they going? Like, I don't know.
No, yeah, I agree. I think we definitely need more inventory on the market to make this thing easier, and it'll be interesting to see what happens with these numbers. Does inventory continue to rise? Like I said, when I looked at it 2 days ago, it said we had 2.1 months of inventory. Now it says we have 2. So it can change a little bit based on when things close out at the end of the month and stuff like that. But, we were at, what did we say, 1.4 months of inventory at the beginning of summer?
Yeah, when we first started this in May.
Right. Now, we also said, and we mentioned that home sales do slow down in June and July just because people they're not around, they're going on vacation and things like that. So they're not really super busy buying and selling months. So it'll be interesting to see. I mean, every month we're going over at the end of the month, we're going over what the numbers look like some previous month. And this one has been the most interesting to me so far. A lot of that has to do with the fact that inventory went up while new listings went down, closed and pending sales went down. So that means that the inventory that's sitting on the market that's going up are homes that are just sitting on the market for longer. So that's interesting. Like I said, that could be that. Wow. Did you hear that? My house just shook. Thunder. It's crazy. That could just be that homes or that's the trend every June and July, because that's what it looked like from at least 2021 and 2019, that June and July it just goes down like that. But could be different. I mean, it's interesting to see because that's the first time that I've noticed it since we've been doing the show and everything that median sale price has gone down, because we expect median sale price to continue to go up over the next 5 years. But seeing it just tick down like that, it's kind of interesting. It's not, we're not just telling people, hey guys, it's still good. You know, it's going up. Well, it'd be it'd be interesting to see what happens at the end of August for sure.
Looks like it's about to rain here too.
Yeah, it must be headed your way. Oh, we got somebody watching.
Holy cow.
I can't I can't tell who it is, but oh, they left.
Oh man.
Oh, you see me. All right, man. Well, that's it. That's 30 minutes. And that's the market recap. I don't know. I'm going to pull this back up real quick. Just so we have it here at the end, and make sure we went over everything. Unfortunately, I don't know why this is, but it's like when I screen share, this gets smaller and then I can't see the exact numbers. But what I was trying to show there was how the entire FMLS did certain things, but depending on the area that you're in, it may be slightly different. The entire FMLS is everything in North Georgia, basically, and close to the perimeter, close to the city. So once you get out to the outskirts, there are less transactions on FMLS. It's mostly like Fulton, Cobb, DeKalb, Gwinnett. Yeah, exactly. Those kind of, Forsyth, exactly, areas closer to the city. But once again, we'll go over this one more time before we get off here. Median sale price from June to July went down from 400,000 to 390. That also happened in 2021. Yeah, went down 341 to 340, and then it also went down 340 to 335 from July to August in 2021. So we could see a couple months where it's going down a little bit. Months of supply went up again. And then pending sales went down from June to July, closed sales down from June to July, and new listings went down from June to July. Back here in 2021, they also went down, but not that drastically. I mean, from June to July, we saw, maybe 100 in decrease. This is thousands that it went down. Decrease from June to July, 14,000 down to 11,000. So
that's crazy.
Days on market is still about the same, 7 days on market. So anyway, that's it, man. Get batten down the hatches and get ready for the storm, man.
Seriously. This is crazy. Well, it's pouring. Well, it looks like it's about to pour.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, I appreciate it. If anybody has any questions, somebody's watching right now. If you have any questions about anything we went over on the market update, let me know. I'm going to send this video out with some of the market stats next week in my weekly email, so you'll get that. Any other questions, feel free to comment here. If you comment, I'll see it on my social media and I'll respond.
Cool.
All right. Have a good one, man.
I appreciate you, buddy.
Later, man. Bye.